Hey, what's up? I'm Lights. Let's take off in the rocket that is Amped Up TV.
Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Amped Up TV, and this week's episode we are featuring Lights.
Hello. How's it going?
Fine, how are you doing?
Pretty awesome. This is like my first time in Winnipeg. It's pretty cold, but awesome.
It's very cold.
We're kicking off the tour here, and that's exciting. You know, I realized I was traveling around a little bit, went to some music stores today and stuff, and met a bunch of people, and it's an awesome city you guys have.
I'm glad you like it. I'm sure all the Winnipeg viewers will be happy that Lights loves Winnipeg.
I love it. Kicking off my first headlining tour, my first Canada tour here in Winnipeg, so I couldn't think of any better town to start it in.
That's great. This is a pretty monumental night then, hey?
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess you don't have to introduce yourself because everyone knows who you are. Usually the point where we go through the band, but you're the band, right?
I'm Lights. I play keyboards for electro pop music that I write. That's about the best description I could do.
Well, that's perfect. You also have other people on stage with you, right? You have a band?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I have a drummer named Maury and another keyboard player named Adam.
Okay. Okay, that's great. So, I guess starting from the beginning, how did you get into the whole music scene? I know that you've been doing music since you were young, since you were a child and everything like that. How did it take off for you?
I mean, it's been a really long process. I first started writing when I was 11, so 10 years ago, and then started recording on this little 8-track I had when I was 13. And so ever since then, it's been a real progression. I was in lots of different bands. I tried a lot of different scenes. I was in a metal band for a while.
A metal band?
Yeah, Shovel Face. I was a guitar player.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then did some pop punk stuff, and I was doing, I just tried a lot of different areas, and then a few years ago I really landed on this sound with a song called February Air. I wrote it on the acoustic, which is the place I was in at the time, and then I thought I'm going to try something completely different here, do everything with synths, because you can come up with the most fantastical sound effect or the craziest idea for sound and make it a reality. So that song was completely recorded with synths, and I realized this is the place I'm supposed to be. So it was kind of a combination of everywhere I'd been in music, kind of summed up into one, and over the next 3 years I basically worked really hard on writing, getting some really good songs together, and then thanks to sites like MySpace and YouTube where you can put your music up,
Right.
I just put it up, and slowly trickling in, people started to discover it for themselves, and then a big step was Old Navy found it and then decided to use it in a couple of their ads the beginning of last year, and that really gave me a cool platform to show the world what I had.
That's
so.
really cool.
It was really organic the whole time and really natural feeling. So.
Yeah, well, that's great that it didn't just like it was just like sort of boom, hey?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like one of those overnight things. It felt right because it was just slow, and I never went faster than I could handle.
Right.
So it was awesome.
Well, that's perfect then, hey?
Yeah.
It's a great process.
Totally.
Like you do lots of synth pop and stuff like that. Who are your biggest influences when writing both music and also lyrics? I know like lyrics are a lot different. Like what do you draw from when you write lyrics?
Lyrically, actually, it's not so much a direct influence by other artists. It's more what I feel like I want to hear, or what I feel like I need someone to say to me, or
Right.
what I feel like how I would talk. A lot of my lyrics are kind of the way I talk,
Yeah.
which I feel like there's no reason to like romanticize lyrics. You might as well just say what you're gonna say, you know?
Exactly.
And as far as music, I mean, I'm really influenced, like, creatively by Bjork. She has no limits, whatever. She does what she wants, but she writes really good songs and surrounds it with crazy stuff. But underneath, since there's a good song, you know, it's really great. And a lot of, like, the current electro influences, like Justice, the quality of their production, and Similian Mobile Disco, and then like CSS and MIA. It's all fodder for production ideas.
A whole mishmash of,
Exactly.
of ideas floating out there, hey?
You got it.
Okay, well that's great. I guess as you mentioned before, February Air, that's been making a lot of waves lately. It's drawn a lot of attention. And also, Drive My Soul, your song, reached number 3 on Much Music Countdown. Is this all like, has it all sunk in yet? Like, or is this all still kind of surreal for you?
It's weird because I don't let myself really think about this, like any kind of success it's having. I just make my music based on the music that I want to make, and I hear from other people like, oh, it was on Much Music or whatever, and I don't actually really watch TV or even listen to the radio that much for that matter, so I'm not really aware of what's going on out there.
Okay.
So, and I think it's good not to let it all, let it go to your head or anything like that. I just like to keep it. I mean, I'm so stoked that it's all doing well, but I don't feel any different. And I just feel happy that the work that I've put in for the past 10 years is actually getting out to everybody, because that's my ultimate goal. It's just like to reach as many people as
The
possible.
fruits of your labor are being
Exactly,
realized,
it's
right?
all paying off.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. So I've got a question for you about your website. It seems to have your website and also your music videos seem to have a space theme. What is the attraction to all this space stuff?
Space is the best. I've always kind of been obsessed with it. Like, I used to want to be an astronaut when I was a kid, and I always researched on like new planets. Like, they discovered a new planet last year that's like Earth, and I always kind of want to figure out how to get there and stuff. Start a new like generation or whatever. And it's just the idea that it's so unknown, and so you can come up with any ideas that you want out there, because there is no actual way that it is, because no one really knows.
That's true.
So like, I read a lot of space comics. I read like Magnus Robot Fighter. It takes place in the future. It's like robots and everything. Plus I read space adventures like from the 60s and 70s, and I loved all those sci-fi movies. Well, I loved Star Trek back in the day when you knew it was cheesy sets, and I loved Barbarella and Logan's Run and CQ. So, I mean, stylistically and conceptually, it's all very inspiring. Plus, you can come up with the craziest idea and make it a reality with sci-fi.
Right. And you draw these comics yourself, right?
You got it, yeah.
That's really cool. So this tour that you're embarking on right now, this is not going to be your first one. You have been on one tour before, is that correct? 2 tours, okay. But this is your first headlining tour.
Yeah.
So what do you expect for this tour compared to the last tours?
The last tours, because I was a supporting act, an opening act, it was more like playing every night to introduce myself to the people, so no one really knew the music, and it's a different experience. Then I've done a couple of headlining shows in my area, and it's a completely different feeling when people are there to see you, and people are singing along with your songs, and people are 10 times more stoked than they are if they don't know you at all. So I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of sing-along action, party, fun time, and me getting to meet a lot of people that listen to my music already.
Okay, well that's great. So your album Lights, it's been available for a while. It's been available since April. What is like the response of fans? Like have you found that fans are just like totally in love with it?
I mean, a lot of people say they love it, and that's so awesome. I find the ones that stick out most to me, I'm gauging it by comments on MySpace
Right,
here,
yeah.
and like messages, is when people say that it changes their day, or it makes them feel happy, or puts them in a good mood, or it helps them get through a rough situation, you know, being apart from someone, and that is ultimately the most satisfying thing about it.
Right. Okay, that's great. Because like your music is very different and creative than a lot of music out there.
Thank
and,
you.
and that's really yeah, essentially like I guess that's what fans will take from it too as well.
I hope so.
Do you find that, do they say that a lot about you as well?
I think some people say that. You know, people say that they like to sing along and they like lyrics. Like, people like it for different reasons, and I think that's the beauty of everyone's being different and like for different reasons.
Absolutely, I agree with you completely. You also write music for a television program, Instant Star.
I did for one of the seasons.
One of the seasons,
Yeah.
okay. Do you see yourself going down that road a little bit again, or do you see yourself more embarking on like touring and writing music and making music more?
definitely more touring, making music for myself. The Instant Star thing was, it was more in a situation where I wanted, because there's nothing wrong with writing too many songs, and collaborating with people is a really great stretch, like, to practice for, because songwriting is a muscle, and you have to work it in order to get your best stuff out.
Right.
So that was like me getting a chance to work with lots of other people and get better at what I do, and it just so happened that they liked a couple of the ones I wrote and used them. So that was kind of encouraging for me, but it's definitely not where I want to end up.
So you see yourself more like touring, writing music lots more.
Totally, and just making lots of albums and maybe someday helping other bands
Helping
find
other
their
bands
way.
do their thing.
Yeah.
Find their way. So your tour ends late February.
Yeah.
What are your plans after the tour?
I am hoping to play South by Southwest. I think we're going to head down to Texas for that. And then probably, well, we're going to do Warped Tour. Hopefully get over to Europe. It'll be really fun.
Nice.
And yeah, Warped Tour this summer for about a month of it. And hoping for later this year a release of the full length, which is almost done.
Sweet.
When I was afraid, you made me still. Forever loved you free. Oh yeah, everything. Forever breath you give. You're my ghost land. You're everything under the sun.
I guess I only have one more question. Is where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/lights, myspace.com/lights, or iamlights.com, or come to one of my shows.
You hear that? Take those in, write them down, get your pens, rewind it, get it down. So that's our show for this week. Thank you for watching Amped Up TV. Be sure to subscribe to our iTunes and find us on Facebook and be our friend. And for this week, see you later.
You can do a couple of yours.
And you're blasting off.
I'll try to make it creative and come off sounding cheesy, I think.
The cheesier the better. We found that, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whenever you're ready.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lights. Let's take off in the rocket that is Amped Up TV at ampeduptv.com.
Nice.
Perfect. Right, that should be good.
Awesome.